Control the universe.
Hello and welcome to Critical Strike 138. I'm Josh, and here with me is Kyle.
Hi.
And Bill.
Kyle's clearly excited.
I'm just so fucking tired.
You're tired. I've been up since 2 in the morning.
I was really drunk last night, and I had, today was the first time where I had, a really bad hangover.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the years I've known you, you've never had a hangover.
No, well, I've had, my head hurts a little bit, and so I'll wake up at, 6, take some Advil, and go back to bed, and I wake up, all sprightly-eyed and springy-tailed.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I puked last night. I fell asleep in the bathroom.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
What were you drinking?
So, last night, we went out for sushi. So, it's a BYOB sushi place. Which
God.
Bill, if you ever come to Philly, I'm going to take you there because it's a great place.
It sounds like it.
No, it's the sushi's really fucking good. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had half a bottle of white wine, half a bottle of red wine. And then
Oh, Jesus, Kyle.
the people we were with, they didn't want to end the night there, so we went in the same plaza. There's a bar, so we went over to the bar, and then I had two doubles of Jameson, and then two halves of Nancy's
Kyle.
drink. And then,
Kyle.
Nance said, I got home, and I passed out on the couch. And she fought to get me upstairs. She said I laid in the bed for about 30 seconds. I shot up and said, I have to puke. And I ran to the bathroom.
No. Oh, no. Mixing wine, never a good idea.
Yeah.
And then dumping Jameson on top of it. And then at least maybe you don't remember losing the sushi, because that was probably the worst part.
I remember waking up and it was, I'm like, that looks like I chopped up an organ and puked that up.
I don't know if I like the combination of wine and sushi.
Well, it was good because it's good sushi. So
Right,
today, sorry, go on.
Right, but if you're going to drink excessive amounts of wine, the sushi is not a good idea.
Right. As I learned, because one, I didn't have a really a heavy protein filled meal, and two, I don't have as much of an alcohol sponge since I've lost weight.
Yeah.
And three, I don't drink that much anymore because drinking is essentially a waste of calories. So I drank way too much, didn't eat enough, and then regretted it. So today, I guess around 4:30 or so, I woke up from cradling the toilet and then dragged myself to bed. I woke up at 7 and I was miserable, so I sat in the shower for 20 minutes and couldn't even stand up. And then
God.
I went back to bed for another hour, and then until about 12 o'clock, I was miserable. I was pukey and lightheaded and dizzy.
I like how I didn't even have to ask for an unfortunate story.
Yeah.
We just start.
We just start we're going hot with this one.
It's hey guys,
You didn't just choke down a beer this morning?
No.
Just choke down a beer. You're still going to be a mess, but you're a little bit more happy about it.
Bill, beer's a waste of calories.
It's 100 calories and you feel quite a bit better. Just hair of the dog, man. You just have to do it.
I only have really strong beers, so they're 150 to 200.
You don't just keep a stable of consuming beer?
That is my consuming beer.
No, consuming beer is beer that you're just drinking to get shitty, so you drink cheap stuff.
Bill,
You don't have just Miller Lite sitting around for times like this?
No. What am I, a peasant?
Ugh.
yeah,
Yes.
what's your peasant scotch, Bill?
Pedestrian scotch?
Yeah.
I love Frog.
I thought it was Jameson.
No, Jameson's
No,
not
Jameson's
scotch.
just
It's whiskey.
Yeah, it's just good whiskey.
Right, yeah.
I did acquire some peated Irish whiskey on Thursday night, though. It is very weird. It's kind of the way I described it to a buddy is if you had a glass of, like, let's say Lafroig, and there was still some in there, and then you dumped some Jameson on top of it because you weren't paying attention. That's sort of what it tastes like.
It's funny, right? Like Kyle and I, just before the show, I think you were getting your coffee or having your cigarette because you were a smoker. We were we were talking about one of the comments on the podcast Twitter account was about the old challenges that Kyle and I used to do when it was just he and I on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And
Back in the good old days.
we were kind of reminiscing about like back when we had this thing called time, right?
Yeah.
And like now we start the show up being like, so what the fuck did you drink lately? Like now we're fucking adults that are just drunk.
Yeah, I didn't throw up or anything or get that rocked last night, but I do. Things were rolling pretty well, and then we went to the Szechuan place at like 9, and I bought everybody dinner, and I know that me and another guy split 2 orders of sake, and then things get kind of fuzzy. Yeah, there was sushi, but I had this sliced fish and chili bowl, which is basically a bowl of red chilies, oil, hot, and some fish.
It's just funny to me how much we've changed over the years is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Last night is fairly patchy after we left the sushi place.
Yeah.
So I laid on the couch attempting to help Nance clean in the morning. And she's like, "Oh, you're so lame. Here's a juice, here's some water with salt in it, and here's some coffee. Drink these 3 things and then call me in an hour."
Yeah, but Nance has always been like much more of a drinker than you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like any advice you've ever given me on a hangover or how to avoid them is a bunch of bullshit, Kyle. I feel lied to.
No, there was one
Here
time.
I am drinking juice and Advil before I go to bed and like a rube.
There was one time that I got really fucking hammered, and I woke up with like a splitting headache, and I was in some pain. I remember I jumped on the Hangout and said something, and Kyle happened to be up. He told me to do something. I didn't. It actually went away pretty quickly.
Yeah, usually it's Gatorade. Like Gatorade and Advil is like the best morning cure. That'll like get you up and going in at least 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, today was by and large the worst morning I've ever had after a drink.
Really?
Yeah. It was
That's
bad.
saying something. Huh. I think the worst morning I've ever had was probably like 5 years ago. We had given a guy a ride home from my office, and so I had to go get him the next morning. And he had his kid with him, and I was so sick, dude. It was like 15 degrees outside, and I just had to have the window down with my head out of it because I couldn't handle the situation. And like he could tell, and so like the heat's blasting, and I know the kid's probably cold. I'm like, man, I can't do this. Like, I just need to get you to your car. I just need to get you to your car. I think I went home and slept for like 4 hours and woke up right as rain, but still, that's the one that sticks out. No college days, that one.
Yeah.
As a responsible member of society and also a quasi-adult.
Then there's me who hasn't had any alcohol since September.
I don't believe that.
No, I'm dead serious. I haven't even had a beer.
Well, I mean, you did have that bad night. I mean, how many pigs did you kill? Like 5?
Yes. No, I mean the whole stomach thing and then other stuff. I haven't drank.
So you won't drink, but you'll eat fucking buffalo chicken pineapple pizza. Like it's going out of style.
Buffalo Hawaiian, all right? They're
All right.
really good.
Okay. It's still not great for your stomach. In fact, your stomach is probably still shitty because you eat crap like that.
I mean, I haven't had one. I'm not eating them like they're going out of style.
Every weekend, it seems like you have one.
Yeah.
He's sort of right, Josh.
I didn't.
I mean, you're like the person that realized that he had a cut on his finger when he's chopping a lemon. Instead of stopping, you just once a week dump more lemon juice in your cut.
I didn't get one this weekend.
Well, good. Your stomach will have another weekend to heal before you dump more buffalo Hawaiian pizza down there.
Sounds like a lot of jealousy to me.
Wait, who was driving last night, Kyle? Did you get an Uber or something?
Nancy
Nancy
drove.
was sober?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I drank most of her drinks. I don't
Come on,
even.
Nancy, we never go out. Let me get some of this drink.
That's basically what happened. She said I literally took the drink out of her hand and drank it all and gave it back to her.
I love Skinny Kyle. He's fucking brutal. He's hardcore, man. Hardcore.
Skinny Kyle is savage.
Yeah.
It does sort of suck buying new clothes, but at the same time, it's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, so I got rid of most of my fat clothes, and I got my old skinny clothes out of basically the Tupperware container that it was in. So I'm like,
wow.
I've been holding off buying more because I'm like, I know I'm going to lose more weight, and I have a really shitty size when like I'm at my appropriate weight.
What?
So I don't have my inseam is 31, which is fucking brutal to buy casual clothes for.
Yeah. I just wear 32s, even though I can fit a fist in between my pants and stomach. Like, I'm not going smaller than that because they just don't exist.
Yeah.
Length for me, I'm in between 32 and 34, and so I have to try on everything because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, 31 is it, my inseam. And then my waist will be probably either 34 or 35.
Well, should we talk about other clothing sales we found this week and or hangover cures?
I like how we haven't done the show since like December, and we just immediately go off with an unfortunate story from Kyle, and then
Hey, you gotta go in hot.
yeah, we
Give the
definitely
people
came
what
in
they
hot.
want. My misery.
Came in hot with
Yeah.
Kyle's unfortunate story. Kyle's he's a runner now.
Yep, I run a lot.
He
I have a really shitty schedule. I hate my life,
Yeah,
but I'm looking good.
been losing a lot of weight, feeling better about himself.
Yep.
Things are going well. I'm the only one not getting gains anymore.
Well, I have losses. I
fat
have no
fuck.
gains. Well, actually, I got these bulky old legs now, which is weird.
Well, I'm the only one not doing anything, even though a couple of years ago I was the only one doing something. It's bullshit. Meh. Maybe eventually. All right, Billy, anything new with you?
No.
Go die.
No, I don't think there's anything that sticks out. No, not really. Just repeating the same week over and over like the rest of us.
All right. So we never really did a game of the year list for 2015 because we weren't doing the show then, and then we never did one for 2016 because we didn't do the show then. So we decided we're gonna do like a little combination list here of 2015 and 2016. Real quick, not gonna be like a long thing. Just a few games. Kyle, why don't you name off what you got?
All right. So mine's a bit all over the place. So I've got Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, Crypt of the Necrodancer, which might surprise people.
Bill didn't even know
Bloodborne.
what that was, by the way.
It's a rhythm.
Seems made up.
It's a rhythm-based roguelike, and it's really good if you like rhythm games. And the Witcher 3. I would have loved to have added Dishonored 2, but I didn't like it like one bit. I thought it was dumb.
Did you say Bloodborne?
Yeah, I did. I said Bloodborne.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dishonored thing, I saw that it was on sale finally for like 25. I could have got it on PC, and even even though I'm waiting for a new card, you love that first game so much,
Yeah.
and the idea that you didn't like this really makes me hesitant to pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I wanted to like Fallout 4, but I'm like, I didn't do any of the mission. I just built towns.
Yeah,
I had
that game's
no
not good.
drive to play that game.
Yeah. Oh well.
All right, Bill.
It's Witcher 3 across the board. Nothing else comes close. We've talked plenty about that. Uncharted 4 was good because the third game was terrible.
I still
I had
haven't
a
even
shit
played
ton
that.
of. It's really good. They bring back a lot more of the exploration and the stuff that's more in tune with the story instead of just hours of fucking combat. Metal Gear, I had a shit ton of fun with that. Like I started it, then went back to it like a year later and played for like 30 hours. It's a really fun game.
I also had a shit ton of fun with that.
Yeah, by not opening it. And I put the order on there because it sticks out to me as like I really enjoyed the experience, and I don't think it sold well, and people were dicks about it, so I doubt we get another one. But I really enjoyed it. Like I always see it on sale, and I'm like, you know what? I could see myself grabbing that and playing through it again. So
Yeah, I really enjoyed Dragon Slayer as well.
what?
It's basically Dragon Slayer, Bill. Space Ace.
This is the people being dicks part that I'm talking about. It was a good experience, and it was fun.
No, Dragon Slayer was great.
Yeah,
First arcade game to charge $1.
That's that dickish thing.
Yeah. Difference is I'm actually the only one who probably has played Dragon Slayer.
No, I remember playing it as a kid, but that's about it.
All right. For me, Dark Souls 3. Definitely.
What a surprise.
Yeah. It's easily
Shocking.
the second best. So, yeah. Bloodborne was after that.
Another shocker.
I'll give you a fucking shocker. All right.
Bloodborne. Is that like Space Marine shooter?
Yeah, so basically Bloodborne is like they took away your shield and you're floating around in space with an axe that you can convert into a dildo.
Sexy.
Yeah.
That makes me think of Saints Row 3.
Yeah. Yep. Super Mario Maker would be my next one. I really love the fuck out of that game.
Do you still play it?
I have a bit lately. I went back recently, and they've added a lot more to it. So,
is the interface, and is it more like Tyson's kid was over here, and I was like, oh, he could probably try this Mario game. Is it easier for like a kid where he could just sit down and play easy levels?
Yeah, so they actually separated what would be considered hard levels from easier levels.
That's good.
So you can just hit a button and go into easier games if you're.
Because that's the problem with it. It seems so bare bones for like normal people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I couldn't stick with it.
I mean, that's part of the problem, right? It's a fantastic game, but it really brings out the dick in humans, right? To make the hardest game imaginable.
Yeah, I see great GIFs and videos of the levels, and yeah, sure, that's amazing. I don't want any part of that.
But also,
I thought people could just make their own Mario game, and that's not what it was. Like, that's what I really wanted from it is, endless Mario games, and it's not that.
Oh, it really is.
And but then it's not set up like that.
You find some real creative.
There you go.
Creative
Use
options.
Your words.
People making their own bosses, right? So they'll put 2 chain chomps on something, and it jumps around and acts like a boss, right? So they get really creative with that.
2 chains.
2 chains?
2 chains?
I don't have a fourth because I didn't really play many games in the last couple of years.
No Man's Sky, it says right there.
No, you wrote that in there, you cunt.
Game of the year.
Yeah.
Didn't you play that for like 20 hours, Josh?
You played it for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, no, a lot of that was just me leaving it running.
Bill, did you play it for 20 hours?
Oh no, I played it that one afternoon and I've never put it back in.
Yeah, I thought one of you played it for like a good while.
Yeah, I remember I left it running a lot. So that might be why you saw like a long time. But I did put some time into it as well. Like I think I made it to like the 3rd warp or whatever it was. And then I was like, yep, this is pretty much the same and I'm really tired of hearing that voice telling me that I picked up this thing or the toxicity level is at X. So I'm kind of tired of this now. Bye.
Yeah. It took me 6 hours to find the one resource I needed to get off the first planet because I was unlucky enough to start in a place that didn't have any. And I ended up buying it from a merchant. And then so I get all excited. I go to a new place and then it's essentially just starting the game over endlessly. And yeah, I'm good.
It's cool flying from planet to planet and flying along the surface of the planet and checking things out, but once you do that 2-3 times, there's nothing else to it. So No Man's Sky is not on my list. Fuck you, Bill.
Yeah. I do have an honorable mention.
All right.
I'm going to get shit for The Division.
Yeah.
Because the multiplayer was
I
fun.
forgot about that. No, I would have put that on my list. I played that for like 60 hours.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Even I played it.
If the ending was better and if the Dark Zone shit was better, I'd probably still be playing that.
Yeah. It's so much fun to play the game. The mechanics and the shooting it's such a good game. And then to see what they did in Ghost Recon and how they could fuck that up so royally after The Division, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
I mean, my biggest fuck you game would be Street Fighter V.
Yeah, you weren't happy about that, were you?
Nope.
I feel like you and Chipoko might have like secret like Skype calls where you both just sit and bitch.
No, I haven't spoken to James in a couple of years. I miss him.
Me too.
It's all right. That's our game of the year for the last couple of years. Tying loose ends.
Yep.
The Witcher is the best.
The Witcher 3 is the best.
It wasn't on my list.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you for a while, Kyle. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
I have not played it any more than the last time I played it.
Word.
All right, Bill, you want to go first?
I can.
All right.
Let me just start by saying I rented Paper Mario, and we were on a Skype call when I fired it up and played it for a little bit. And I think I could have maybe stuck with it, but the cumbersome act of combat and having to do all of the gestures on the tablet interface and doing the swiping and card thing over and over, that's what I couldn't give it more than those few hours.
Like
it's really pretty.
They added more unnecessary button presses than you really didn't need.
Oh god, you should just be able to like click A 3 times and then pull your move, but you have to do all this swiping and then swipe towards the screen shit every single time, and I couldn't stick with it. It was terrible. I mean, you played it a fair bit longer than I have, but even you just got tired of it.
Not good.
Not good at all. I played Doom for a little bit. For some reason, I haven't went back to it, which isn't a good sign.
I also played Doom a bit in the past. I haven't played it since like we did the last episode, but I kind of uninstalled it because every other fucking day they were putting out like a 3 gigabyte patch.
Yeah, see, I never had any of those because I think I started it after all of that was done.
Yeah.
But it's super fun. The controls are super tight, but I just don't really have the drive to go back and play it. I don't know. It's not saying anything bad about the game. It's just I'm not in the mood to play that style of game.
I think that'll be a good like summer lull game.
I'll give you that. I know that my game saves right at this like encounter that's kind of a bitch, and I've died like the 4 times I've tried going back, and that's probably a big part of it that I don't want to go back and deal with that right now. So it's really pretty, and it runs great on my old card, which is really surprising, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's a Doom game. You shoot shit, you run around.
Yeah, it's a good reimagining of Doom, like to bring it into this century.
Yeah, it's really well done, and I actually have a few songs from its soundtrack in one of my playlists because it's hardcore, awesome music. Like, that's maybe the best part about it.
Look at you.
The music's awesome. Yeah, I mean, for me to have any video game music on anything is pretty rare, and it's pretty dope. At the very least, hop on Spotify and listen to some of those. It's pretty great.
Apple Music for life.
Yeah. I started Quantum Break today.
So what's that?
It's the Microsoft exclusive where there's live action like episodes.
It's made by the people who
in
did
between
Alan
levels.
Wake. Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And basically, there's some scientists. They think they came up with a time machine and essentially broke time. And there's all these fissures that crack and time stops, like little pockets of it. And you and another guy are unique in that you have the ability to basically have superpowers with time. And so you mess around with that type of thing. I don't know.
Didn't they show that like 4 years ago? Because that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it didn't take forever to get out like Alan Wake, but after playing it today, I feel like maybe it still shouldn't be out. Well, there's just it feels sort of disjointed. And there's just it's not done. And the thing that really killed me, Kyle, is like you enjoy in Deus Ex reading all of the emails, right? Like things that you find.
Uh-huh.
So this game, I just always just skip over them. They're just like collectibles that when you get. But I read a couple when I was talking to Josh, and it's huge like plot lines and story that should be their own cutscenes. Like these should be scenes that are just in the game because people are probably going to skip over this if they didn't find it. Big sections of the plot and big important pieces that just aren't in there. So if you don't read this email, you skip over it. And it feels like they maybe didn't have the development or the time or the money to like add this stuff. And it's frustrating because there should be cutscenes for all this because the story's kind of good for as good as it could be for this type of thing. But I don't know. The combat's meh. The cover system's garbage. And I'm playing it on easy just to blaze through and take in the story, and I'm enjoying it for that. But I'd say if you had 10, 15 bucks laying around, it'd be worth picking up, but I'd probably play it on the PC because the Xbox is a piece of shit and it sort of runs like shit. And the videos that are live action, they're like episodes of a TV show, they run at a blazing 12 frames a second or so. So it's very difficult to fucking watch it.
What?
Yeah, the frame rate's fucked on the video, which doesn't make any sense to me, but it's difficult to watch. Because what's the normal video number, like 29 or 26 point something? This has to be...
I think it's 28.8.
Yeah, this runs at half that. It's very difficult to watch. And you have like a 20-minute video between each act, so you have to sort of watch it, but it's properly difficult. I don't know. It just seems like maybe it needed another year to cook. I don't know. I'll probably go through it because it's sci-fi and I'm getting a kick out of it, but I don't know. I would have not been excited if I had spent $60 on it, we'll put it that way. Outside of that, for some reason I got a wild hair, 5 weeks ago, Josh, or so? Like I dug out my old game save of Dragon Age when I was like 60 hours in, and I've put another 60 in the last month or so.
Yep.
So I completely finished the main storyline, and then went and bought all the DLC right after I did because it was on sale for $16. So now I've got a good another 5 weeks of that fucking game.
Yeah, pretty much every weekend, Kyle. He's just been playing that.
Huh.
Well, you can just zone out and you can have something on the laptop watching TV or sitting on Skype. It's enjoyable. It's... After Dragon Age 2 and the criticism they took for not having open areas and it not being a BioWare game and not having enough stuff to do, they jump so far on the other side of the fence that there's just a lot of like boring Kyle style side quests. Like it feels, it's a lot of that MMO style questing shit that you like go collect these 5... No, The Witcher's not like that at all.
Okay.
No, it's not.
No, I didn't just go kill some rats.
No, that's
but
not
there's
how
a
The Witcher
reason
is.
why you had to kill those rats. It had like its own engaging story.
Mm-hmm.
But
This is
it's the
not
same
that.
type of quest.
Yeah, but they do it differently. That's why it works,
Oh.
In this, it's literally just things on your map. Go and collect or kill these 5 points of interest where there's enemies, and that's it. Because when I started playing it, how long did it take me to actually get back to a cutscene of the main story, Josh? Like another 25 hours?
I mean, I wasn't
nothing
sitting there
happened.
with you, so I don't know.
Yeah, there's a story there, a main story, but it's very few and far between all of the other stuff, and it's fine. It fit what I wanted to play at this point in my life, so I'm not knocking it. But if you were to hop in, out of those 100 hours, I would say 60 of them are just doing completionist side quest bullshit, which is fine. Kyle, you like that kind of thing with the MMOs you play. So it's, it works for some people, but it is not Dragon Age Origins by a long shot.
Yeah.
And the good thing is I think if they step back from that and add a little bit of depth to the side quests like The Witcher does in Mass Effect, and I read an interview where it sounds like that's exactly what they're going to do. I'm sort of excited for Mass Effect.
I am very excited for Mass Effect.
Yeah, if you had played through this, if it's set up like this on these planets, I think it's going to be pretty fucking great, honestly. Because this could have been a lot better if you just added some depth to some of the things that you were doing. But I don't know. I mean, I bought all the DLC. How often do I buy DLC? That should say volumes right there, right?
Yeah.
Because I never do that.
I mean, you bought all the DLC for Sperm Nation.
The Game of the Year. Outside of that, I mean, those are old games, but that's basically what I've been doing, what I'm going to be doing. I think we have an announcement on Wednesday for the new 1080 Ti, so it sounds like I'm finally going to get a new video card, which means I can pick up Mass Effect and play some of the other games I skipped. I'll finally finish the last of the Witcher DLC because I wanted to play it at max settings, so that's really the thing I'm looking forward to. I have the money sitting there for a year now. I'm just waiting for a new card.
Mm-hmm.
Very exciting. That's it for me.
Senor Kyle.
Okay. So I spent a good deal of my winter break playing The Witcher.
And doing chores.
And doing chores. But
Awesome.
I finally sat down to play The Witcher, and I got past the intro of running down the tower, which is the last time I played it. And I think I put in 30 hours or so into it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Look at
it's
you.
really fucking good.
Right? Right?
Like we just talked about, like every quest has a reason. It's well thought out. It has its own little story. It's not just go
Filler.
kill 4 rabbits. There's like a reason instead of just pointless work.
Yeah, maybe this guy needs these rabbit pelts so that he can enlist the help of this local witch. And then when you go and he gives those, that picks up on another quest that carries through. And a lot of these things finger out a little bit, and I like that.
So that Bloody Baron quest was phenomenal. And I'm still not done with it because I got distracted with other shit.
Yep.
But
The Bloody
shit.
Barons, yeah, it's one of the better parts of the game, actually. It really is.
There's like a shit ton of stuff to do. The map is huge. There's a lot of shit to explore. And it doesn't feel like a massive time waster.
That's fair.
Yep.
I'm not just doing busy work. I'm out being a witcher. Like, it really feels like that.
Yeah. And then, I think I played more Final Fantasy 15, but I don't know. It's been a while. I haven't really put any more time into it.
Yeah, it seemed like that game just fell off the radar after the first couple of weeks for everybody.
Yeah, I haven't seen really anybody playing that.
Mm-mm. I mean, maybe they all finished it, and that's just it, but that doesn't seem like the case it should be, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The fact that you and Nancy aren't going through it, like every little thing kind of says something too.
I thought that was going to be the game that we were going to just like pass the controller around and play, but it turns out that I have no fucking time anymore.
You chose this life.
I did. It's a rough life. And then while I'm at school, I've got like a little break. So when I'm not doing a fucking mountain of chemistry homework, I'll take a 15-minute break and I'll play Faster Than Light, FTL, which is a nice little space-based roguelike that is really fucking hard.
I didn't think you would be into roguelikes.
No, I like... Josh, you're talking to the guy who will replay a game over and over again. The same game.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
But I'm saying like the difficulty factor of them.
Eh.
I mean, there are some that are much harder than others, I guess.
Yeah.
But...
It's fun. I enjoy it. I usually die fast enough, so it's about a 15-minute game.
Mm-hmm.
It's quick. It's all quick decisions. You get a little space battle. It's fun. I like it. I like it a lot.
Kyle, your last thing, do you want to just join that with what I'm going to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I could do mine and then lead into yours.
That's fine. Why don't you do that?
Yeah. So, over the winter, over Christmas, a friend of mine works for, like an architectural software firm, and they build programs with VR in mind. So architects and designers can build their building and actually make it look proper, and actually go in and take a look at their rooms and stuff and all the wiring and all that stuff. So him and his wife will come down from Boston once a year to hang out with us during Christmas. So he brought down all his Vive crap, and I got to play with the Vive, which was a very, very unique experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just played the basic demo bullshit stuff. So the Steam demo, where there's like the 8 different mini games that you can play. I think we did the work simulator.
Oh, yeah, Job Simulator.
Yeah, Job Simulator. And then I did some horror game. It was like you had to. It's just you in this circle, and you have to shoot this in like swarms of undead, and you had to survive. But
Yeah.
it was fucking something. I'll tell you that.
It's not what you expect.
No, and I thought it was just like, oh, you put on, hokey goggles and whatever. But it's way more than that.
No,
it is so fucking good.
You genuinely feel like you're in it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I expect it to be awesome.
It is fucking awesome, Bill. And if you have the opportunity to play around with it, I wholeheartedly suggest you do.
You think it's gonna be awesome, Bill, but like I'm, and I did too, but I didn't fully expect how awesome it to be, right? Like, because you don't know honestly what you're expecting or what to
It's
think.
like when you lost your virginity, Josh.
Yeah, yesterday was a good day,
Honestly.
but like you don't, you know it's gonna be awesome. You want it to be awesome, but you're not quite sure what to expect. That's gonna be awesome. So when you first put it on, like to go into it, like I actually during the Christmas break bought an Oculus Rift and the Oculus Touch controllers. And the reason why I went with that over the Vive, by the way, was ease of setup. Right?
Oh, you didn't want those two little vibrating speakers, essentially, on like their 8-foot stands?
Yeah, no. So like I actually have two Oculus cameras. Like one's on top of my computer tower, and then the other's on a shelf over there, and they're nice and simple to take down if I want to take them down. But my experience with it, I've never used VR really, ever, and I didn't know what to expect when I put the Oculus on and I started going through the demo stuff. One of the first ones it had me do was stand up, and then it's switching between scenarios, like worlds, basically, like. Now I'm standing in a field, and there's like a wolf or something that comes walking up to me, and it's really cool. And like, you can turn around and look in a full 360 motion, and you honestly feel like you're in the field, right? And then the next one really fucked with me at first, where all of a sudden now I'm on top of a building and there's traffic, and I see helicopters flying by and stuff like that, and it starts like pushing you over the edge, and it kind of makes you look down towards the street. And I took a step forward and I'm looking down the building, and I honestly went to grab for a post. That's how real it felt to me.
Yeah. No, I get that. Like Nancy tried it and she got super into it.
Yeah. It's impressive. It really is. Would you ever get one, Kyle?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know which one you would rather get, like a Vive or an Oculus?
No, I don't.
Yeah. They're pretty interchangeable at this point.
I'd probably get the Vive just because I used it before.
Yeah, as far as the headsets go, like it basically comes down to comfort, right? Which one's more comfortable to you? And honestly,
I'd get the Vive headset just because it looks like the headset from like a Ghost in the Shell show.
Awesome.
No, I'm serious.
yeah. I prefer the Oculus Touch controllers or the Vive wands or whatever they're called, because the Oculus Touch controllers, like, they fit in your hand, and when you move your fingers, there's like touch sensitive pads on it, so like it picks up that you're moving your fingers, and like you can put your index down but then like have your middle finger out and it actually does it in game, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So you can actually use it to like poke things rather than like hold the wand and like poke things, so it feels more real.
I don't know. I was a fan of the wand.
Oh, I liked them when I tried it. I'm just saying, like, in terms of feeling more immersed, I think the Oculus Touch controllers are better.
Okay.
Yeah, I played a bunch of games. I might as well. Do you want me to start going down what I did?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry. One of the games, honestly, I was really looking forward to trying in VR was Rec Room.
Yeah, that I played that. So I did paintball and I filmed myself masturbating.
Yes.
With the confetti gun.
Yep.
Oh,
So Rec Room,
God.
I originally saw on Giant Bomb, and I had a weird fascination with it ever since, because it's kind of like a little online community in VR, right? you spawn in what is your little locker room, and then you dress your character and you walk around and blah blah blah. And you go out in the public area where there's just a bunch of people, and they're all just dicking around playing basketball or filming each other doing stupid things or throwing darts in people's heads and stuff like that. And it's just kind of neat, right?
Yeah, it is.
Which is really weird for me, because if I'm actually playing it standing, everybody is so much shorter for me.
Yeah, that's the best thing. So the headset will tell other people what your relative height is.
Yeah.
So if you're really tall, it'll show you how tall you are relative to everyone else. So if you're playing with a bunch of kids, there's like all these little tiny ass people running around.
Yep, and I'm a fucking giant. It's weird. But it's just...
And there's also the telltale, hey, let me shoot you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Can I get that dart? And then you throw it in the kid's face.
You shoot him in the back of the head with the confetti gun.
And it's weird, Bill. Like, if somebody does throw a dart in your face, you actually see it in your face. So, like, imagine if we were playing Battlefield and I shot Kyle in the face with that...
in the back of the head.
Yeah, he would actually
gun.
see it blinking in his face. It's really weird. So I really want to try Rec Room. It's kind of cool having a little online community in VR. And it works so well. And the fact that that company started just to make that game, and it's as good and polished as it is really impressive. So that's good on them, I guess. Other than that, I played Thumper in VR. And Thumper, I mean, everybody has already heard about it or seen it on other things. It's just kind of like a weird little rhythm game. But it's kind of cool in VR because it's like right up in your face and you're traveling on the trail. And you're it's to me, it's harder to react in VR. So it kind of made the game a little bit more difficult. But it was, you can play it either or. It was just a cool experience to play in VR. Gunjack was my next game, and I really fell in love with Gunjack. I don't know why. It's probably the most simplistic game out there, where basically you're defending a planet, and so they put you in the cockpit, which, by the way, cockpit games are the greatest games in VR. I'm just going to come out and say it now. Kyle, I don't know if you tried any, but cockpit games are amazing. Like, I played Project Cars and stuff like that, where I'm actually seated. So Gunjack, I'm seated in a mech. And I'm having my touch controllers here in my hand, and like the mech's arms and stuff are moving as I'm moving. And it's really cool. I think, Kyle, you would love it. But so basically it just launches you outside of the planet. And waves of enemies are just coming at you, and you're shooting them by looking around. So where you're pointing your head is where you're shooting, basically. And just waves of enemies, and that's basically all it is. It's basically like a modern day, like Galaga, where just waves of enemies are coming at you. But it's kind of just such a cool experience because you're floating in space above the planet in a giant mech, and you're shooting lasers and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that are a bit of they hate on the VR. They think it's 3D and it's going to go away.
Sure.
So my question is, it's really exciting. You got this new toy, and you're going through all of these quote-unquote games that are really sort of just tech demos, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like maybe I don't see any high-end AAA anything for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's been a little bit. You would think, like, if this E3 comes around and there aren't some proper, hey, we've been working on X, what happens with this exactly, do you think?
So
does it start bleeding away a little bit and just becoming like a niche type aspect to computer gaming, or what?
I think it'd just be used for other things. So not exclusively for gaming, but for different applications. So I've got, like my friend, he works for an architectural software firm.
Sure.
And they make shit in 3D.
And Google Maps or Google World is really impressive on it.
I love the idea of not having computer monitors on my desk and just putting on a headset and having 6 monitors. I have a movie going here, the game I'm playing in front of me, chat windows, Skype. I like the idea of that future.
Sure.
But one of the things that really threw me for a loop is when you guys were playing certain shooters, that you don't actually move around like you would expect because it makes people sick. Like everything's teleport based. And that, I don't like the sound of that.
It depends though, because multiple games have different scenarios for how you control it. So if you're one of the people that get motion sick by analog controls, which I can tell you, if you're standing up, or personally, right? Like for me personally, there were a couple games where...
me personally, I think this is the best movie ever.
What?
Me personally, I want you to shut up.
Me personally? Oh, never mind, Bill. I'll link it to you later.
Hype.
So if I was standing up, right, and I'm looking around, and then say I'm holding my Xbox controller and I move the analog stick to move myself, I started wobbling back and forth while I was standing because the mind is not expecting me to be moving.
Mm-hmm.
I got used to it pretty quick. Like after the first initial jump, I was just fucking teleporting all over the place.
Right, but I'm not teleporting, Kyle. What I'm saying is I'm using motion controls to move, or actual real controls to move. So there's some games out there that don't use the teleporting system, like we were saying, and it's basically like I'm playing Dark Souls, and I'm using the left analog stick to move around. And my mind wasn't expecting me to move like that, so I actually got really wobbly and almost fell over. Now, if I'm playing a game where like I'm on a roller coaster, that's fine, because in my mind I'm on a roller coaster.
Why would you do that? That sounds like the worst thing ever.
Well, I'm just saying, like as a thing.
Right? No, I just hate roller coasters. So
I've never been on a roller coaster.
well, because your fucking head'll fall off.
That's what I always say, and everybody's like, "No, what?"
What was that?
What?
Nothing.
So, Bill, you got to understand, like, it's different for every person, right? And you have to kind of train your mind, which sounds weird, but you have to train your mind to be able to handle VR. So, for me personally, when I started playing it, I started getting motion sick very early. And I would have to take the headset off, and then maybe like 20 minutes later, go back in, and I would stay in it a little bit longer. And you're basically getting your mind used to the fact that you're in virtual reality. But
Take the red pill, Neo.
I still can't do games where I'm using analog controls to move around because I will get sick.
Yeah, and that's probably that'll be my luck. That's where I'll be. I'll be all excited, and I won't be able to use any VR, and then I'll just be an irrational hater about it because you know how I am with things. And I'll call you all stupid for using it.
But I mean, there's so many different scenarios for how you can play, and most games are now supporting every way of you moving yourself. So you just have to find whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about AAA games, right? One of the reasons why I went with the Oculus, and it's kind of a dirty thing, and I don't like that they do this, but they have their own game studio that they formed, and they've been paying developers to make AAA games for the Rift. So, like, Insomniac is making games for it. Epic Games is making games for it now. There's numerous companies that are now making games just for the Oculus.
Yeah.
So you have AAA games coming out. And there are
Which they have money behind them, so it makes sense that they're doing that. You know?
Yeah. And honestly, like, HTC kind of started that whole thing anyways with the Vive. But then Oculus kind of became dicks and blocked Vive users from using the Oculus store. So it's honestly a nasty fucking thing that's going on right now.
Yeah, I don't want it to be a platform. I just want it to be a monitor type. It's just like ISPs. Just give me data. You're not an entertainment provider. I don't want services. I just want you to be a piece of tech.
Yeah, but now you have
don't
Valve.
Fuck this up.
You have Valve in the middle doing their own thing, blocking both from their own thing.
Yeah.
It's stupid. So, but there are some AAA game, what I would call AAA games already on the Oculus store itself. Like there's one, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Maybe it's like Chronos or something like that. But it's basically like an RPG that almost plays like Dark Souls, which is pretty neat. So on the Oculus store, I would say that there are more fuller games out there.
Yeah.
So far, I really love VR, and porn is insane. So,
I mean, this is why I couldn't be a businessman, because I couldn't make decisions that split up user bases like that. I get why they do it, but they're cunts. I'm sorry.
Well, there is a group out there that is getting all three of them talking about making like a uniform platform.
And it needs to be that way. And then buy what's comfortable for you.
Yeah,
That's what'll increase costs going down. And
unfortunately, you have
overall
Valve
user-
that's kind of making it worse right now.
Well,
because-
Valve, they've lost a lot of respect because the Steam client sucks. It needs a giant upgrade.
Yeah,
Big
but
time.
now they're coming out. So you know how HTC has the wands for the Vive, and Oculus now has the Oculus Touch. Now Valve is making their own controller, which they're considering their own platform. So Valve needs to fuck off.
I mean, I know you're not a fan, and I don't have any reason to really hate them, but it seems that they've just been stagnant. They are getting rid of the green light shit. I did see that. That's a bonus. So maybe the storefront won't just be garbage for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you pop onto it now, it's like games that are 6 years old. You go to the PSN store or the Xbox store, it's relevant. I get that they don't maybe want to push all the AAA shit, but at the same time, come on.
Come on.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Hey, Valve. Fuck you. So that's VR. Kyle, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Okay. I like it.
I like it. I do like it. I think it's going to be awesome. If
I bought one.
yeah, I know you did.
I watch porn. It's interesting.
I'll have to take your word for it.
You can come over and watch them.
I'll drive 8 hours to do that.
I'll sit behind you.
That's weird.
Yeah. Shh.
Nah, I don't like that.
Just let it happen. All right. Other than that, I've been playing Neo.
I thought it was Nio.
Neo?
Is that how it's pronounced?
I thought it was Neo in my head. That's how I've been saying it.
It's Neo.
Oh.
I feel like this would be a
Gaiden
good... You guys should have an argument about it.
No, I really don't care.
You guys don't care? You get bitchy with how people pronounce things from Dragon Ball.
No, we don't.
Sort of.
Kyle, have you ever gotten pissy about how anybody says anything about Dragon Ball?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
Bill's trying to make it funny and he failed.
They're really not trying to make it funny.
Anyway, I've been playing Neo. I got it, Bill, last weekend, I want to say?
Mm-hmm.
Because David's been talking the game up so much. And I was like, all right, I kind of want to see how long it would take me to catch up to him. Because it would be funny. I think pretty much in like the first day, I was like one boss behind him. Which is funny for me.
Well, not really. I mean, you like these games. This style of game.
This, I don't know. Everybody's talking it up to be so similar to Dark Souls, and it is, and the fact that they pretty much ripped off everything that's good about Dark Souls. And they
I don't
kind of
think
made
it's
it
ripped off. I think it's just a genre now.
Yeah, at this point, it's safe to say that Dark Souls has created its own genre in terms of hate fucking people. But Neo adds a couple other things that Dark Souls really hasn't had. So basically, you're playing as a samurai guy, and there's a million different weapon types. There's also guns and bows and arrows, which, by the way, if you have arrows, you can basically complete the game with just that. Because you can pretty much just one-shot most enemies, minus the bosses. And then the major difference that I absolutely hate about this game is it is not a big world, right? There is no big open world that you can travel to. And Kyle, you played Dark Souls 1. Basically, you're in Firelink Shrine or whatever the fuck it is, and you can go in any direction in the world, right? You'll probably die anyway, but you can go to the left and go to like 3 different zones. You can go to the right and go to 3 different zones. In this game, you're in a menu, and it says select mission. So you select your mission, and then you're in a little box. And that is your little zone. And basically, any mission can take you like 5 minutes to complete. And it's basically a very linear path. You start at the beginning of the zone. There's a little, what they call shrines in the game, but that's your bonfire. And then you go in a direction, you take a right, you go in a direction, you take a right, you're at another shrine, and there's the boss. And that's pretty much how every mission is.
That doesn't sound very exciting.
No, and that is the biggest failure of the game to me. Is in a Dark Souls game, and honestly, Bill, you've said it a million times. You like exploring. You just don't like the bosses. I
like the world they build. I don't like to play the game.
And that's what that's what I tried to explain, right? This game has no atmosphere. It has no feeling to it. It's just bland. It's just mission after mission. So you finish a main story mission, then it unlocks like 4 side missions that you can do. And then you do those, and then you go to a different part of the continent, and there's more menus for different missions. And that's basically it. So to me, it's just depressing that there is no exploration, really. I mean, as far as the game play is, it's pretty much Dark Souls. You don't roll around. You basically slide out of the way, and then you attack people with your swords and axes, and it's basically Dark Souls. It has magic, which is basically ninjutsu. So yeah. I don't know.
You don't hate it, but it's just not your favorite.
I don't hate it. It's just very bland, right? Whereas, like, I just played Dark Souls 3 not too long ago, and the world in that was very in-depth, and there was a lot of things going on, and there was a lot of things to explore, and you can go in any direction that you wanted to go in. And to be limited to a little kill box is kind of annoying. And there's so many, like, every mission in this basically has the same exact enemies that you fought in the last one. So it's very bland.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
It's not awful.
Honestly.
It's just
that's exactly what you're saying, Josh. It's
not special, right? Part of what makes Dark Souls isn't the difficulty, it's the atmosphere. It's the actual sense of being alone.
It's the exploration.
Yeah. Like, one of the reasons why I love Bloodborne so much, the world that they created in that game was fun to explore and to see, and it wasn't as, like, gray as Dark Souls, if you remember, Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, it had a soul to it. This is nothing like that. It's a fun game. I'm having a decent time with it, just chipping away at it, but I'm not going crazy over it like I did the other games.
No, but you knew that going in.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, the combat is really solid. They did a good job making it fast-paced. So it's kind of on par with Bloodborne in terms of combat to me.
Combat?
Yeah. So that's cool. Other than that, I don't really have much.
I'm not playing it. I've learned my lesson with those games. I'm done with them.
I mean, the one thing that you want to do in these games, Bill, isn't there in this game anyway. There is no exploration. Unless you want to explore menus.
I do like menus.
You can do that. I mean, there's a blacksmith in this where you can craft weapons and stuff. That's kind of neat. I mean, but I've been using the same weapon since the second mission, and I'm basically killing everything in 2 hits. So the weapons don't really matter. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I'm really excited about it, yeah.
That's kind of I mean, I wasn't super excited about it.
I know. It was a spiteful purchase.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll show you this game isn't good.
I didn't say that.
Sort of.
No, I didn't. I said, I'll show you this game is easy. And then the first night, I pretty much caught up to everybody else. I'm a better Souls player than you, Bill.
Well, duh.
I have a soul.
You do have a soul. I should get one of those.
And it's dark. Like Tony.
Not really. Poor Tony.
So, Kyle, why don't you tell them how they can get in contact with us and make America great again?
Okay. You can get us on Twitter. You can contact Josh at Nasero, myself at KR Dumond, Bill at Billy Bill Black, or the podcast at Critical Strike. You can shoot us a voicemail leave us a voicemail at 909C-STRIKE, which is 909-278-7453, or shoot us an email at cstrikepodcast@gmail.com.
You're good at that.
Good job.
You still got it.
I know I do.
Even with a hangover, you can still get it done.
Oh, no, the hangover has I have overcome the hangover. I've been about 7 hours hangover free. It only took a lot of water and a pot of coffee.
Yeah, coffee, I gotta be careful with hangovers. Things can go south with coffee, because then I really need to sleep because I'm really sick and gross, but because I just drank a shit ton of coffee, that's not happening. Yeah, I gotta watch the coffee.
See, Bill, what you need to do is drink a
No,
shit ton
you
of coffee
no longer
in general,
you
and
no
get
longer
a
get to
tolerance
give
to coffee,
advice.
so you can go to sleep after you drink a pot of coffee.
Oh, I don't even leave my house in the morning without a cappuccino, and then I spend a day drinking a pot by myself because I have a coffee shrine in my office. I drink plenty of coffee. And I really need to cut that down, quite honestly.
I'm
But,
down to 1 cup of coffee a day.
You don't
Really?
drink real coffee, Josh.
Well, I gave up coffee anyways, Kyle, with the stomach thing. Remember, I switched to tea for the longest time, and then I ran out of tea, so I switched back to coffee. And then now
What do you mean you ran out?
There's a world of tea, Josh.
Yeah.
I could push a button and somebody will probably bring me tea right now.
Anyway.
All right, sorry, everyone. Everyone should have stopped like 5 minutes ago, I would hope, right?
They're gonna see like, oh, he did the thing. Why is there 10 more minutes of the podcast?
We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
We'll see you in 2 months.
Bye.
See everyone in the summer.